That was bad. That was bad. The Heat got stomped out by the Portland Trail Blazers tonight, 116 to 107. The score made it way closer than it really was in that game. The final score was the last fourth quarter, last couple minutes. The Heat made a little comeback, cut it to 7, but there was really no chance because they dug themselves such a deep hole. A 24-point lead was the highest lead the Portland Trail Blazers had. They dug themselves too deep a hole to come back out of. That was bad. The Portland Trail Blazers put it on us, whether it was on offense, it was 3-point, rebounding, and defense. Then it was defense where they just stopped us and we couldn't hit a shot. Threes were not falling. They went on runs in both the second and third quarter, outscoring us outscoring us by 10 points in the second quarter. In the third quarter, it was by 14 points. The Heat didn't do so bad in the first quarter. They won that quarter by 4 points. But when it's a high scoring first quarter, that usually doesn't mean well for the Heat throughout the game, throughout the remainder of the game. That sets out the blueprint that the Heat might just lose this one because they can't hold their opponent to under 100 points. In the fourth quarter, we did make a stretch. We won that quarter by 11. Duncan Robinson, Pelle Larson, they led the comeback. But it was still way too much to overcome. In the first half, the Heat, the second time in franchise history, didn't force any turnovers in the first half. Not a single turnover by the Heat. You can't win that way. Not a single turnover in the first half by the Heat. Second time in franchise history, you cannot win a game like that. They were giving up buckets on both ends. It was the transition game that killed the Heat. These young players, Anthony Simons, Danny Advia, Jeremy Grant, Scoot Henderson, just storming past the Heat, and that is what the Heat are scared of. They're scared of getting too slow. That's probably why Khalil Ware wasn't in the starting lineup to begin the season and the beginning of the season. But now it seems it works. But the Heat are too slow, and it wasn't even the Ware Bam that made it slow. It was just the overall effort of the defense and Jovic Jaquez just getting stormed by in transition, and that was really the game changer in this game. Now, where Bam, you couldn't really judge it this game. I like that Spo actually went with it and tried it after it worked. And he went with that lineup that gave us that 20-2 run, the Terry, Duncan, Bam, Jimmy, Ware lineup. Tyler was out, unfortunately, and you really shows. We would have won this game if Tyler wasn't out. We needed his scoring. Jimmy Butler, we'll get to him in a second. I don't even want to talk about Jimmy Butler right now. We had a terrible two-quarter stretch. The threes weren't falling. They kept shooting them because of how much they were down by. And then they came out of a timeout in the third quarter and led up two turnovers for two transition baskets in transition, which was the Trailblazers' recipe all night. And that's just how sums up the night. Come out of a timeout to try to stop the run for the Trailblazers and let up two buckets off of turnovers. And if you were the Blazers, you played 15 plus minutes, you were in double figures. You can't let that happen. 18 points for Jeremy Grant, 16 for Danny Villa. He had a double-double rebounds. DeAndre Ayton, 22 points, 15 rebounds. 24 points for Anthony Simons. He kills the Heat. Scoot Henderson, 11 points, 8 assists. Shannon Sharp had 12. He's a bucket from 3. Anthony Simons had 6 threes. He's an extreme bucket. And that Banton dude, he was just a disruptor for the Heat. 11 points. If you had 15 plus minutes for the Trailblazers, you were in double figures. Can't win games with 0 turnovers in the first half. Everybody's scoring in double figures, and you can't hit a damn shot. Haywood Highsmith has limited minutes. This wasn't a game for him. He would not have been useful in trying to mount a comeback. It's Haywood Highsmith, but he got his minutes took by Khalil Ware. He only played 4 minutes tonight. That's bad. Jimmy and Bam both didn't play the fourth quarter. Spo thought it was out of reach. And he went with the youth group. Duncan, Jaquez, Jovic, Ware, and who else was it? I can't tell you who it was. Pelle Larson. Pelle Larson. He came in and mounted the comeback with Duncan Robinson. It's nice to see Duncan Robinson actually score. He had 22 points. He had a terrible West Coast road trip, and it's nice to see him come back against the Spurs, against the Blazers, and actually score points and have that 3 fall, even though he didn't win this game. Duncan, Ware, and Pelle Larson were the 3 bright spots of the game. The only 3 bright spots of the game. Bam, he didn't play the fourth quarter. He looked good. He still had a double-double. But you can't really see nothing with him without Ware, and then playing the 4-4, didn't play enough minutes. He actually looked like he was going to come into his own this game, but then we let up a big run. It was another terrible night for Terry Rozier after having a good 20-point game last game. 1 for 6 from 3, still can't hit the 3. 4 for 13 from the field, still can't make it. Only can make layups. not really facilitating the ball. Didn't have his rebounds. 9 points. Bad game. Terry Rozier. The Heat dropped to 500 on the season, 21-21. It's like taking one step forward, one step backward constantly. 3-game win streak, 3-game lose streak. Win a game against the Spurs. What a game. Then a absolute stinker against the Blazers at home. Now that's win 1, lose 1, win 3, lose 3. Take a step forward, take a step back. We can't get ahead. And this is most likely the last game Jimmy Butler played in a Heat uniform. Maybe he plays on Thursday, but I don't see him playing anymore after that. Shams reported earlier that the Suns traded a 2030 run first-round pick for 3 first-round picks, which obviously means they're trying to acquire draft capital to make a trade, and obviously it's for Jimmy Butler. And it's only a matter of time before they trade for Jimmy Butler. So that means it's going to be a multi-team deal. Bradley Beal's going to go somewhere. The Heat are going to get some expiring deals, some youth, some dogs, hopefully. And the Suns are going to get Jimmy Butler and try to go all in again and re-roll their dice and go all in again with a new big 3. I mean, I like that Pat Riley's stubborn, but it's a good stubborn. Because as you see, he's forcing the Suns to go out and make moves and get some damn picks for us. You know, when it comes to trading players away, he's pretty stubborn and he makes sure it's the right deal. No matter if this guy's trying to force him out, he's going to make sure it's the right deal. Jimmy Butler. Now that we're talking Jimmy Butler trade, I want to talk Jimmy Butler's performance tonight. Jimmy Butler's performance tonight. He had 13 points, 8 assists. It's another high assist night for Jimmy Butler. And you know why he has another high assist night? Is because he's not trying on the court. He's leaving his teammates hanging. And that was a reason for the Blazers in this game. We didn't have Tyler. The team looked sluggish, and Jimmy Butler. Tyler, first, he would have scored. We would have won this game with Tyler Herro, obviously. But you don't have Tyler Herro, so you know you're going to rely on Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo played good. He only played 22 minutes, 12 points, 10 rebounds. He looked nice. Jimmy Butler, he only played 27 minutes, had 13 points. Don't let the 13 points and 27 minutes fool you for Jimmy Butler. That's decent if it was any other night. But if you actually watch the goddamn game, Jimmy Butler is not being aggressive when he needs to be aggressive. If he was aggressive in the third quarter and not bouncing his top, doing cardio around the court, that would have given the team an earlier spark so this lead didn't mount up to 24. But since Jimmy Butler wants to act mad and be annoying about making $50 million still and can't even play the game correctly without trying to just defer the ball, he's not trying to score. He's only kind of trying on defense. Like, you can't even tell if he's trying or not on defense. He's playing decent defense. I'll give it to him. But that's what you're supposed to do. Jimmy Butler's supposed to be playing great defense. But 8 assists. We don't need you to pass the ball. We need you to go be aggressive, and we need you to go get buckets for this team to get a spark to win the game. He doesn't care if the Heat win. He doesn't care if the Heat lose. It's clear. It's clear as day he's not trying to score. It was sluggish, and it was the spacing again. He's just messing up the spacing. He's messing up just everything. The rhythm just... We can't get going when Jimmy Butler is playing like this. I mean, you're relying on Jimmy and Bam when Tyler's out. And Jimmy's not even available, basically. He's in the three-point line in the dunker spot, standing around doing nothing. And deferring the ball when he gets it. Trying to pass it. Trying to make some jump in the air, pass it out. Jump in the air, pass it out. He's just trying to pass the ball around. He doesn't want to score. And it's stupid. He's being disruptive. This is just... To the team, this is not good. And he needs to go already. He wants to go, let him go. Make sure you get the right deal. And just let him go. Just let him walk. Or just bench him. I don't care. Just bench him. I mean, it's going to cause headlines. But it's better for the team to finally play without him and get used to this, how it's going to be the rest of the season. And we're not going to have someone that doesn't want to be there on the court. He hit a 3 tonight. That's the only thing I have to say. He hit a 3 tonight. 8 assists. It's not what we need. And it's clear he's just trying to pass around the ball and not trying to score. He's trying to be annoying because he didn't get what he wanted. Because he wants to get another 3 years, $50 million when he already has 2 years, $50 million in front of him. Trade him already. Get him to the Suns. You can get him to the Hornets for all I care. Just get him somewhere where we get somebody decent. Simple. Coach Spo was even asked in the post-game press conference about Jimmy Butler's relaxed play. And this is what he said. Basically, he didn't really give an answer. But he acknowledged it.
I know what you're trying to get out of me. You're not going to get anything worthwhile. It was just was not a very inspiring, first 3 quarters, by the whole group. So it's tough to pinpoint one person in that. I was subbing. getting it deeper into the rotation. Just nothing really seemed to take hold until we got to that last group.
I mean, ultimately, what he said was true. It was the whole group that was terrible. They were slow, getting outrun by the youth, by the young guys, even though they're young. They were getting outrun by the more athletic dudes on the Blazers, faster, more athletic, and just wanted it more. The Heat played soft tonight. They played the Bucks on Thursday. TNT rivalries week. I mean, I was looking at the schedule today. Rivalry supposed to start today, and we got Nuggets, Sixers, Lakers, Wizards. What rivalries are those? No one knows. But rivalries week, Bucks, Heat. I guess it's a rivalry. Maybe Jimmy Butler plays. Maybe he get traded. It's going to be interesting no matter what. See what the people inside the NBA has to say about that. And I want to see where start against the Bucks because the Great Wall of Bam against the Bucks. I want to see where and Giannis, see how he can defend Giannis and how Bam can defend the Bucks and Damian Lillard without having to have such a load of guarding Giannis. Maybe and Brook Lopez, who's obviously also big and gives the Heat problems. So that's going to be an interesting game. Hopefully the Heat can win on national television. I doubt they do. I mean, I think the Bucks have gotten hot. I can't tell you for sure. But national television, TNT, gonna watch them no matter what, obviously. Let's go Heat.